everybody. Welcome to Spill the Petals podcast, where on every episode we talk about, like an industry event, news happening, trend, best practice. So I'm here with my colleague, Jackie Lacey, and I will give him the honor of introducing the topic and our very special guest today.
Thank you, Renato. Appreciate it. We are really lucky and I'm very excited today because we are speaking to two people connected with something really close to my heart and the industry, AIFD. And we have Theresa Colucci, the incoming president, and Camron, the incoming co-executive director for AIFD. I'm going to let them introduce themselves just so that we have an opportunity to meet them and feel like we're talking to them. Theresa, how about you first?
Hey, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to be the incoming president of AIFD. We've got a lot planned for the following year, and we're ready to get into it. I live in New York, in the Hudson Valley, Gardner, New York, and I run my own retail store and do floral design and all that other good stuff.
Hey, Theresa, a real quick question for our viewers that may not necessarily know what AIFD means. What does that acronym stand for?
Okay, stands for the American Institute of Floral Designers. We're an organization of floral artists that are dedicated to educating ourselves, students, and the public on the art of professional floral design. So in other words, we try to promote and advance this fantastic career that we've chosen, which touches millions of individuals through flowers on a daily basis.
Well said.
Thank you so much. And Camron, how about you?
Well, hello, everyone, and thanks so much for the opportunity to be here. I'm truly excited. My name's Camron King. I am brand new as one of the co-executive directors for AIFD. My colleague, Andres Polanco, who unfortunately isn't able to join us today, will be working side by side, and we've got a phenomenal team that we are pulling together to work with what is a fantastic group of volunteer leaders in a incredible space in the floral design world. And so we are truly, truly passionate and excited about bringing people together, which is exactly what AIFD does, and making spectacular things happen. So looking forward to the year and years ahead and collaborating on bringing the association forward. So thanks again for being here, or for allowing me to be here.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today. And I just want to tag on a little bit to the question that Renato just asked. And Theresa, I want to congratulate you on being incoming president. Having been president myself, I know what shoes you're stepping into and what this next year is going to hold for you. And if I can say anything to help prep you for that, is just get ready. It changes the moment you become president, and your phone will start to ring off the hook, and you will not believe how the emails increase. But even after all of that, it's going to be an incredible experience for you that you'll cherish for the rest of your life, I'm sure. But having said that, what does AIFD mean to you?
So AIFD is so important to me. I was on the board with you, and I think at one point I was trying to explain that my reason for being in leadership is really at this point in the game to give back. I came to my first symposium in 2001, knowing very little. I owned my retail shop then, but as far as knowing what the industry was about globally, I was kind of clueless. I saw acronyms behind people's names, and I thought, or addendums. I was like, what does this mean? I have to go to Chicago and I have to find out what these people are doing and what it's all about. So I went to it and I was blown away. And from that time, my career changed. Okay. I was constantly being educated and sought education. The connections I made and I'm still making connections on a regular basis. And it opened so many doors for me. My business wouldn't be where it is, and I wouldn't be in my career where I am at this stage if it wasn't for AIFD. So I hope to give that opportunity back to somebody else. I've got this great national board behind me and a team of committee chairs that are all very excited to be where they are at this point. And we hope we can let someone afford that opportunity as well.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know that the journey, like we all like to call it in the industry, where leadership for AIFD is a huge commitment. Most people don't know that when you start that trek into leadership, that's a 14, 15-year commitment by the time you get through being past president. And at the end of all that, you truly do get to experience so much. But that one of the things that I thought would be important for us to talk about today is that AIFD has always been the leader in floral education in the industry. And some people may feel like that might not necessarily still be true, but do you feel like that we're still leading in education when it comes to floral design and certification around the country and the world?
I do. I think that AIFD provides cutting edge floral education like no other. When you come to our national symposium, we have education from talented designers from all over the world. We also have incredible designers within our membership, and they provide great education. It's one opportunity to learn from professionals. Whether you are brand new to the industry, there's stuff that you can learn from hands-on classes and the main stage programs, all the way up to being a seasoned pro. As far as our certification, our PFDE evaluation session is proving to be as strong as ever this year. People are still seeking their AIFD designation, and also CFD is pretty strong. People are still looking for their CFD certification. So I do think we're very strong.
Well, I know one of the stats that I saw just recently from the United States government is that with the amount of retail flower shops that have closed in the past and expected to close over the next years, that those that are open will be so because of their certification. That the public, the general public, is starting to put an importance on certification and looking for those that are certified. So I agree with you. I think we're just as relevant as we've ever been. And if anything else, in this time when the industry might appear to be getting a little smaller, we need all of the help and support that we can find. And so it's a great time, excuse me, it's a great time to reach out for that. And we talk about our AIFD family. The way I look at it is that's my support system now. I have 1,500 to 2,000 people that I can reach out and ask how they do something. So it's a great resource.
It's
looking
so true.
Also at the industry.
Sorry, I was going to say it's so true. You can open up your directory and just blindly point at any member and call them up and say, hey, I've got an industry question, or I need some question on mechanics or a source for, getting some kind of product. And if you tell them you're from AIFD, regardless of whether they know you or not, everybody's so willing to help.
That's awesome.
That's so important. And I wish more people would even use the Find a Designer on the AIFD website when they do have a question. Don't be afraid to reach out. That's part of what we take an oath to do, to support the industry and those that are in it and try to help their education path as well. With all the changes that we've seen in the industry, especially in the last few years that we've come through, why are we, as a group, the association, looking at changing management companies right now?
You kind of preface to that. The world's gone through huge changes, and so have our own lives. And every organization around the globe has changed dramatically. But I think it seemed like a perfect opportunity for us to get a new management company. We went through a huge process, looking through different management companies, several interviews, and we found ARC, and we think that ARC aligns with our current needs and are going to help us grow into the future. we're excited. We're very excited to work together on new opportunities. Every time we talk to Camron, you know, there's been a few of us that are in constant contact with him already. And every time we hang up our phone or we get off a Zoom call, we all chat afterwards. And we're really, really excited for this change. I think it's going to be such a positive experience for AIFD.
I agree completely. And also know that it's always great to look for the opportunities in any challenge, and coming out of the challenges that we've certainly faced over the last few years and being part of that. I look forward to what Camron and ARC will be able to bring to us. Camron, can you explain a little bit about what an association management company does for an association?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you both for the flattery. We're very, very honored and very privileged. I'll take it all day long. No, in all seriousness, it is truly an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to work together with the AIFD leadership and membership in terms of what we have as a true partnership moving forward to capitalize on momentum that has been before us, that has come in a very strong foundation with AIFD, but also really looking forward to the future and developing a substantive partnership that allows, as Theresa mentioned, the organization and the association to position itself for the future, to continue to grow and progress and to be more relevant than ever before. So from an association management company perspective, it's really interesting. And I think it's important for folks to understand that AIFD is acting as a truly great steward of investment in membership dollars by partnering with a management company such as ours, in that we share resources with others in terms of investment in dollars to minimize inputs and maximize outputs. That's saying, you know, rent is shared across other clients. Rent of equipment and the like is shared in such a way that AIFD benefits from that, and the membership benefits from using strategic dollars in a very wise manner. But it's also about capitalizing upon industry expertise and organizational management expertise. And I'm very privileged to say that our management company has hundreds of years of collective experience in organizational development and association management that we can pool on and pull together for the benefit of AIFD and the leaders in terms of programs and services and benefits and offerings going forward. So it's an exciting prospect to be looking at it from an operational standpoint, but from an industry standpoint as well. My colleagues and I, many of us have great experience in agriculture and value-added agriculture, and specifically in the floral space. And so taking that leadership experience and that network and being able to translate that over and bring it in to hit the ground truly running with AIFD is exactly what we're so excited to be able to do for you all. There is so much opportunity that we've already begun to see with AIFD, so much history and heritage that deserves honor and respect, and the catalyst for the future. So it's very, very exciting.
You know, yeah, thank you for that. And it does sound very exciting, Camron. But just I wanted to hone in on a word you just mentioned, the opportunity. Like, what could you kind of outline some of the opportunities that you see coming in at it from your perspective as an AMC?
Sure. Well, and Renato, thank you for that, because obviously this is the beginning of our transition and our deep dive into really absorbing as much as we can. But some of the things that we're beginning to see in terms of opportunities that we want to work with the leadership on is taking their strategic vision of ensuring that network and that community of designers and that sharing of that knowledge share, even beyond receiving your certifications, but developing that expertise and continuing that expertise of community, both in a regional, local, national, and there are international members of AIFD. So ensuring that opportunity to build that community is going to be huge. especially as we're all coming out of the last few years of where we were uncertain and what was life going to look like and what was business going to look like. We see that opportunity and that connection point now more than ever in what a membership-driven organization and a certified membership organization offers, to begin to build, as Theresa was mentioning, that certification tradition of excellence that has been there. Build that forward, communicate that value proposition out there, so it's not just within the industry, but so that consumers who are looking for high quality designers and buyers and event planners and the like are coming, because we all need to be doing greater business for you all, and capitalizing on those opportunities to build that network, build that exposure, and that education is just a few of the strategic points that I really see as opportunities for us going forward. And now more than ever, those opportunities are right before us, so it's exciting.
Hey, Jackie, you had a question?
Yeah, well, before we move on, I want to sort of just compliment you on using the word community. I love that, because this association started with a handful of designers almost 60 years ago that wanted to see what they could do for the floral industry as a small group. And with almost, almost 60 years and now almost 2,000 members between CFD and AIFD, I'm so glad to hear you refer to it still as a community, because that's really important to those of us that have been long-term members. I'm sure Theresa would echo that sentiment as well.
Absolutely.
Well, and the community mindset, Jackie, is critical. And I think if the last few years have taught us anything, when we've had to go into isolation or we've had to reconfigure our lifestyles and our businesses in such a way, there was a yearning and a human desire for connection. And that opportunity to build that human connection, that sharing, that learning, that community, people are hungry for that. And so, we stand to build on what people are hungry for in that community. I mean, it's a partnership. It's about making sure that we roll up our sleeves all together and raise this entire pie, or this entire sea, so that the AIFD ship is continuing to move upward and forward as well.
Yeah, so we talked about the potentially good, and I'm just going to challenge you guys. Any immediate challenges that you see with this new transfer to new management?
I think there's bound to be challenges. We've been down a bumpy road. It was very challenging. Jackie had to be the president through this horrible pandemic that we went through. And let me tell you, he was faced with more challenges than any president has ever done. I'm just praying that doesn't happen to me.
So close to him, I was well aware of those challenges.
But because now things are changing, which I think has a lot to do with, us going with a new management company. As much as we know there are going to be challenges there, I'm telling you, we're only looking forward and seeing, I'm just really optimistic. I think we can overcome a lot of the big challenges that we had. We know that there are things there, and we've got topics that we're discussing that we want to jump on and tackle. So with that being said, that's why I feel so optimistic that we're really going to start seeing some positive changes.
And I think it would be naive to say that there weren't going to be challenges. I mean, that's human nature. That's business. That's organizational dynamics with many people and many different perspectives. But I am a firm believer that progress comes from challenging circumstances, because somewhere inherent in overcoming any challenge is the prospect of finding a solution or moving the ball forward. And so if it was that easy to get that growth opportunity or that success or that actionable win, if it were that easy, is it really, truly that worthwhile? So any of these challenges which are going to potentially come forward, Theresa is fantastic. The board is fantastic. The leadership of this organization and the membership are so incredibly dynamic. that it's going to just take open clarity, communication, and partnership to get us all forward together. And we're excited and ready to surmount that challenge.
Okay, one last hot seat question. And you mentioned
And
business.
for who?
For both of you, actually.
Okay.
And this is a little bit self-serving because, as you know, this is a Floriology podcast. We're powered by BloomNet, and we are an AIFD elite partner and an education partner. With this change coming up, what are some of the changes that we may see in the coming year with our relationship or your relationship with the partners?
I'll tackle first, and then you can jump in, Camron. So this is definitely something that we have on our list, Renato. I think awesome. that any change, changes are not going to be immediate, but any change that you see will be positive. We recognize how important our industry partners are and our education partners are, and we value that. So we want to work with ARC. We've already talked about partners with them and any issues that we may have had in the past, but we want to provide a partnership that's beneficial on both ends. We both have to be okay with what's going on, and it's got to benefit both of us. So we're hoping that it's going to start with communication and get the conversation going on what our partners need and what we need from them. And then we can move forward to make the relationship stronger on both ends.
Well, and if I can piggyback off of that, I think the key, Renato, outside of the fact that we're going to dip larger into your budget, just kidding.
Well, hold on, did you hear that?
Well, maybe. I mean, we'll see. No, I think in all seriousness.
But if there's a true value that you could offer, and there's a very clear and distinct ROI, I think it's a given that, given the way we operate, we are industry supporters.
Well, and I think
how
to
else?
That point, yeah, agreed. And I think to that point, that is exactly what it is. That word partnership is exactly what it needs to be. And it needs to be, as Theresa was mentioning, a win-win proposition and an opportunity for, to your point, developing those platforms that have the ROI in such a way that, again, it is a collective whole that is succeeding and progressing together. And partners can't win either party without both partners being at the table. And so really, as Theresa mentioned, we've had initial conversations, and we're going to have more, and we're going to continue to evaluate and look at what does this mean moving forward for us. And it's going to be a wonderful conversation with yourselves and with all of our partners at AIFD. So it's going to be fantastic. If I can make a quick note from the management company perspective, because I want to just draw a distinction. This is a wonderful introduction to us as ARC, but I want to impress upon the industry, all of your listeners, yourselves, one of the things that we so vehemently believe in, that is part of our ethos at the Association Resource Center. We are AIFD. We are no longer ARC. Our conversation is, as we refer to as partners, again, every association that we work with, and that my colleagues, we have over 30 different colleagues around the country that we work with, and 32 different associations, nonprofits, and foundations. We refer to them not as clients, but as client partners for exactly the reason we were just talking about. Partnership is the foundation for success on both sides. And so as we move forward, I would like for you all to just refer to us as AIFD, because we are your partner. We are AIFD, and we look forward to moving forward as AIFD with you all. So thank you for allowing me to say that and share that.
Perfect segue into my next question and topic that I really want to talk about, because being heavily involved in supporters of AIFD, we know that just around the corner we have GROW. We have National Symposium coming up in July, which will be in Chicago. So Theresa, why don't you give us a few highlights about what we can expect this year in Chicago?
All right. Well, first of all, I think Chicago's got some good juju going on, because for all the years I've had gone to a symposium in Chicago, they have just been amazing. So I think that's a first start. But Jacob McCall and Chris Norwood, who are the program chairs and the symposium chair people, have really worked hard to put up a lineup together for everybody that's like high quality education. Two programs that I just think are going to be fantastic from our international level are Ellie Lin, who is going to be from Asia, is doing a program on the beauty of plants. Now, I think that this is going to be a really great program, because when we as designers, we often neglect the plant itself. We look at the beautiful bloom that's on the plant, and she's going to dig into leaves and how beautiful stems are, and how leaf manipulation and weaving and all these different techniques that she's going to do with plants. So I'm very excited about that. Another one is Per Benjamin from Sweden, who is going to focus on color theory. That is really exciting to me. We love projections, right? We love to see what the color of the year is going to be. We think about color when it comes to fashion and interior designs, and it's so important in everything that we do as floral designers. So that's another thing that I'm really happy to see on the main stage. But lastly, I asked Jacob what was going to be the most exciting thing for him, and they're so pleased with their lineup of hands-on classes. And they really put a lot of time into some business classes and hands-on classes that were going to be for every level. So there'll be, as I mentioned before, levels for beginners and levels for seasoned experts. So that's going to be a really great thing.
Well, I think that one of the things that we'll really be looking forward to is last year, just getting back after having had to take a couple of years sabbatical and not being together, and being back together in person and still kind of feeling our way with what was going on. This year, we pretty much can move forward. We're going to be together again and are starting to put things behind us. And I can't wait for that opportunity just to see my family again, AIFD Floral family, and spend quality time together that we always look forward to every year. Camron, let me ask you, since this is your first AIFD as part of AIFD, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, goodness. So I've had the good fortune of attending symposium last year, and it is truly a wonderful group of people. And so I was struck first and foremost by the positivity and the community and the collaboration of people coming together and truly having the opportunity to foster the relationships, and for building from that and seeing what those education and those certification programs and the beauty that was developed within these and then celebrated and shared out during the main stage and hands-on sessions and workshops and even at Partner Showcase and others. It was really spectacular to see this all kind of come together in a really unique way. So being in the trenches this year, so to speak, it's going to be fun to really be rolling up our sleeves and tackling how do we build on that good feeling in such a way that it is also providing a really positive and effective experience for everybody, allowing them to take in and build those relationships and build those networks and build that education and knowledge base. That doesn't happen without really cogent logistics behind it that hopefully nobody sees, but everybody enjoys and partakes from. And so we're excited to be a part of that, because we all have a role to play in symposium. It doesn't just happen, whether it's from the back of the house side of things to the attendees. Everybody is part of the movie, and seeing that this is creating the movie together, it's exciting to be a part of playing a role in bringing together a really, really spectacular and hopefully award-winning showcase this year. So the symposium is going to be fantastic. It's going to be tackling it from a very different perspective, but that good feeling, that energy, that sharing and knowledge transfer and community building is going to be really fantastic to be a part of in a new way this year.
Well, we're very, very, very excited. And of course, Jackie and I will be attending. Before we sign off, where can we find more information about AIFD and the symposium?
On the website, AIFD.org.
I'll just jump in for you here, Theresa.
Yeah.
is simply to access the AIFD website. And so, either getting onto your trusty search engine and searching American Institute of Floral Designers, or going directly to AIFD.org, you'll have the opportunity to interact with and tackle any sort of information, calendar of events, background information, resources, and of course, as you mentioned, the registration links to get to symposium so that we can all be together in Chicago.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and hopefully all our viewers got a lot of great information about the transition, because I know there are a lot of questions that were out there, and I just wanted to just share real quickly where you could, if you're listening to this podcast, there are video versions of it. So if you check out Floriology's Facebook page or YouTube channel, you will find the video version there. And do you guys have any last words or thoughts to share before we sign off, guys?
Sure. If you are new to AIFD and maybe a first-time attendee going to symposium, I'm going to tell you to jump in, volunteer, and get involved. It's the best way to make your experience at symposium worthwhile. You'll get to meet talented designers. You can work with them. You'll make connections, and it will just make your symposium experience that much more valuable.
And from our side of things, just thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to collaborate and to work with everyone at AIFD, and Renato and Jackie, to both of you, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And the next few weeks are going to be fast and furious and crazy as we get to symposium. We look forward to seeing everybody there, to celebrating together, but celebrating together for many, many more years to come. So thank you again.
Wonderful. Jackie, take us home.
We'll be starting each day at AIFD Symposium with a what's going on today. So be sure and look for us, or check your live feed to find out what's going on. We'll try and talk to you guys several times, hopefully, while we're there during that week. But we look forward to seeing you again. And remember, there's no use crying over spilled petals. We'll talk to you again soon.